or apostrophe S, and they will say Ghana. Countries have been banned from entry. We haven't had any issue with any ban because of some of the help. The national security has been one of the wrong Ghana supporters when it comes to what we do at the commission. Countries have been banned from entry. Thank all of you for being here, and yourself and your original minister of the national security for lots of some. I'm sure the national security has been one of the representation to be supporters when it comes to questions and answers. And sure, my management, I will all of you for having me and tomorrow the best information authorities, all of you. We will give all the t-shirts and this is so I'm sure anyone who wants t-shirts for everyone to know, I don't know for the t-shirt to shine. And if there are questions, we want to have a massive crowd show in the Volta regional capital. I think tomorrow is the end of the constituency where we march. If I will give out a t-shirt, the DC is everyone who wants t-shirt will give you one of them. I believe we're going to have drinks everywhere. We want to have a massive crowd in the Volta regional capital. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, it's another program. I think I need to be because he has betrayed us. So we need to be responsible. Alright, so we say that we take you alone. Alright, that's just for the program. We are going to have a presentation like a first lesson so that you understand what necessitates the Ghana Amnesty program, where we come, and why it's important for you to know this program and participate. So to do that, we are going to invite the acting director, PPRD, and Asante. Gas down, gas down, Ghana up. Thank you very much, Mr. MC. And thank you once again for being part of this engagement or seminar on the Ghana Amnesty. So my job here is to do a simple presentation on the Ghana Amnesty, and then after that we'll take questions. We'll also take suggestions from you, and then we'll take it from there. So I would also like to respectfully go by the existing protocol, and I know I have the permission of the high table to continue with the presentation. So yesterday, for I'd like to do give a short overview of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. I know for some of us, probably it's the first time even hearing about the Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. So the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons is an agency under the Ministry of Interior. And what we do is that we lead Ghana's effort to prevent and combat the illicit trade and misuse of small arms. Ghana's story is one of a steady institutional development, as we all know, with the agency collaboration, public sensitization, and community engagement. So when you come to Ghana, the Small Arms Commission, we are really, that's what we do. We try to collaborate with all the agencies. We create awareness among the public. We also engage the community and do other things that will help us achieve our mandates. So Ghana, like many West African nations, continue to face growing security concerns
Why? Because of the illicit proliferation or circulation of small arms. Normally we say small arms and light weapons. Simply, unimaginably, we all saw what happened at the Central Mosque. The widespread circulation of illicit arms, of course, does pose significant risk to internal stability and regional peace and security. So, no matter how peaceful a community is, or a country is, or a society is, when we begin to see the infiltration of arms amongst the people, it is likely to cause problems to our peace. So, the small arms was established by an act of parliament in 2007. Administratively, it was established in 2005, starting with 5 staff of the commission. Gradually, we have moved on. Today, as we speak, we are getting to 100. It is an agency, as I've already said, we are under the Ministry of the Interior. What is our mandate? So we are mandated to deal with matters relating to small arms and light weapons and other related materials. So all other related materials, we are also there. Explosives, we are there. Improvised explosive devices, we are talking about all these things and trying to deal with all these things for the safety of Mother Ghana. We coordinate the implementation of regional and international instruments of small arms and light weapons that Ghana as a country has acceded to, like the ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Weapons, the Armed Raid Treaty, the UN Firearms Protocol, among others. Now, what at all is the goal of the Commission's months? Why are we in the oxygen city? Why are we talking about non-amnesty? It is all because we want to promote a peaceful, safe, and gun violence-free society. So we want a society that is very peaceful, a society that is safe, and a society where even though we have arms, where people are using them for hunting, farming, some are using it for self-protection, we will have a gun violence-free, it will be gun violence-free. So as we speak, we are in 6 regions and 8 other communities, including the Tema Port. So in 2021, we established the Ashanti Regional Office, Western, Northern, Upper East, and Upper West Regional Offices. And then we established the 6th Regional Office through the instrumentality of the Executive Secretary, Dr. Adam Bona, and an office in the Kotoka International Airport in the Greater Accra region last year, 2025, upon his appointment. And then we established the Upper Border Office in 2021. Then we also established a municipal office in Yendi, and then 7 border offices in 2022. The border offices are at Enugu, Baga, Hamilin, Sampa, Oseko, Jokro, Memusuru, and Temaport. As we speak, steps are being taken to make sure we have an office at the Takoradi Port and the other airports. The reason being that sometimes people also bring in weapons through our ports and through our airports, and so we need to tackle it. The Commission breaks under 5 thematic areas, namely small arms control. So here we talk about institutional capacity, building capacity of implementing partners, staffing, all the tools and equipment that we need to be able to deal with the fight. Then public education and awareness raising. And one of that is stakeholder engagement, like we are doing here, so that Ghanaians will understand the issues of small arms and light weapons and also help us to fight the canker. Then border control, because we also realize that some of the illicit borders sometimes come through our porous borders into the country, and sometimes from Ghana outside into other countries. We also need to tackle our borders. Then stockpile and inventory management. Here we are referring to our state security stockpiles, as in the arms of the state security agencies and the ammunition, and then also the one that the private people who are given authority to import and sell to people who come with permit to buy. We also need to make sure we are checking their stockpile, putting measures in place to make sure we don't have any arms or ammunition leaving these state armories or private magazines into society to cause trouble. Then the last one is alternative livelihood for blacksmiths. So I think my boss made mention of the locally made arms and made mention of Alabalo. So steps are being taken. The Honorable Minister for the Interior actually tasked the Commission about a week or two ago to advise him to see how we can make the local manufacture work. Said that it will not create problem for us as a country. We all know that when His Excellency President John Ajay Kufuor came into power from 2001 to 2009, 7 December, one thing he did was to regularize galamsey. The intention was very good, but we all see the problems that it is creating, which means that we need to take our time and think through properly to make sure that we can do local manufacture of arms. But at the end of the day, it should benefit us and not cause more troubles for us. And so we are looking into that, how to do that. Meanwhile, there will be others that may not be able to meet the standards. So how do we also make sure we have alternative livelihood for such people? Then the last one we have is weapons for development programs for communities with high proliferation of arms. So for example, recently we had when the Tufor submitted his report to the president on the Boku mediation, when he said that they were talking peace. While they were talking peace and the factions seemed to be ready to make sure that peace will reign, the arms are still in the system. How do we get the arms from the system? So that one day after the peace, somebody doesn't get angry, go to his room and bring the gun, and then the conflict begins again. So this is one thing that we are looking at. So if we are able to, so for example, this year we see how we go to Yenti, for example, where peace was broken. They still have the arms. So there should be a way to engage them, where all of them agree that we are all bringing our weapons, and then as a commission you can destroy them, and you destroy them in the open for transparency's sake, and then in exchange of that we give development to the community. So the community will let us know what kind of development do you think maybe we want you to help us establish some manufacturing or something where the youth can get employment. Then in exchange of that we do that. So we'll see how we can do that. Now, since we went to the borders in collaboration with the other security agencies, we've been able to make some seizures. So the pictures you are seeing there, we were able to see some ammunition that were being smuggled from Ghana into Togo. Some arms that came through the Temaport that were entering this country, and they probably would have caused havoc. We were able to intercept them at the Temaport, and also some explosives. So one of the things we do under small arms control is capacity building and training, like I said. So these are some pictures of some of the trainings that we do for the security agencies. One of the things that we also do to make sure that we promote our peace and safety and gun violence-free society is to make sure that from time to time we go to the various police stations. From time to time our police conduct sweeps, cordon and search. They go to some of the ghettos, some of the hotspots, and they are able to see some weapons. Sometimes you get crime scenes, they retrieve some of the guns. So it goes to court. After the case, the court says the weapon has been confiscated. So we go and we make sure we collect all seized and confiscated weapons and we destroy them. By so doing, we are making sure that these weapons are completely eradicated from society, so that tomorrow somebody cannot break into the armory and bring these arms into society. So as we speak, last year we went to the Bono Ahafo and Ahafo regions and collected more than 1,200. So the pictures you are seeing, those are the weapons. And this year, together with the weapons that people are surrendering, we are going to make sure that we destroy all these weapons. So these are all pictures from the collection exercise. We've done a number of weapons destruction in the past, and so far we destroyed more than 10,000. But we were using burning, which also has its own environmental implications. So we have been fortunate through the EU and ECOWAS. We have acquired this destruction machine, weapon sharer, that hopefully we will receive training on it this year, and we will use the equipment to cut them into pieces instead of burning them. And we will do it in the open and invite the general public so everybody can come and have a look at what we are doing. So one of the things we also do program and understand what it is all about. So first of all, how did the commission even come to existence? I'm sure most of you, I know, looking at our ages, 1991, the early 90s, we heard about Liberia and Sierra Leone and what happened there. So because nobody was paying attention to illicit weapons. Charles Taylor and his people managed to bring in all kinds of weapons. And then before government could say that, they were ready enough and prepared enough to fight government. And that brought the war in Liberia, where innocent people, that is the painful aspect of it, thousands or probably millions of innocent people lost their lives. And when you go to even Sierra Leone, Freetown, people's hands were chopped off. They ask you whether you want short sleeves or long sleeves. Even women's breasts were cut off. Some people's tongue, it was so barbaric and so horrendous. So, somewhere mid-90s, getting to the 2000s, ECOWAS realized that no, this cannot continue. As ECOWAS, we need to address this issue. If not, it moved from Liberia, went to Sierra Leone. They didn't know where next it would be going. And if you are not careful, probably Ghana would have also, received its share of that thing. So the heads of state said that no, we need to take measures and steps to make sure that we deal with the issue of small arms and light weapons. So all the 15 member states were supposed to establish a commission that will handle this issue of small arms. So a focal point or a commission to do that. So it's as a result of that the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons was formed in 2005 administratively and 2007 established legally. So the Gun Amnesty Program is one of the interventions that we realize that we need to bring up to so it is whatever we are doing is more of being in a preventive mode, because we don't want to do firefighting. We want to prevent the fire from what happening. So that is what we are doing. So we realize that of late there seem to be so many illicit firearms in the country. And how do we know? We hear about the crimes that are being committed with small arms. Land disputes, land guards, people are killing others because of land issues, chieftaincy issues and all that. And then one interesting thing that is also coming up, which I remember the Honorable Minister mentioned yesterday. In our traditional festivals, we know that since time immemorial, it is part of us to fire musketry, which uses gunpowder. And we have people coming from the traditional authority or the palace, musketry, and they fire into the air. But now it looks like it's becoming fashionable. So people who have no business in the palace, because they hear that it is the cultural festival or the fire festival, they also enter their room. Some have registered pump action guns, some have unregistered guns. They bring them out, they are all happy, they are celebrating, boom, boom, boom. Then stray bullet kills somebody. And we cannot continue and allow that to continue. Somebody is even doing a naming ceremony, and then they are firing arms. Somebody is going to marry. I saw a video, I was shocked. The man was going to perform the traditional rites. And when it was time for them to call the man to come and show his face, there was another man with him who was firing guns. I said, hey, what is this? So what if accidentally you shoot somebody? Then something that is supposed to be a joyous occasion now becomes something else. You can't do that. Or if some of you heard, I'm sure the media is aware. Somebody goes to court, he wins the case, and he's shooting because he has won the case. And then 6 people become casualties. Thankfully, they didn't die, but they got injured. So we cannot allow this. Which I humbly and respectfully want our Honorable Toby to listen to it carefully. It's even where we have chiefs losing their lives. Teshi Mumba last year, installing a queen mother, then somebody shoots and hits the queen mother, and the queen mother dies. And then recently, I think a month ago or 2 ago, Opuasi, one of the communities, understand the MC's mother also his funeral. Then the prominent chief attended the funeral, and somebody shot the chief. Thankfully, he didn't die. I think he got injured. So we went for a program and we were having a discussion, and we said, oh, we have to check this. If not, the accidental killing, one day a prominent chief may lose the life. And we all don't want that. And then the person said, but who told you that was accidental? It was targeted. Then we said, wow, that even makes it very serious. What it means is that if someone wants to assassinate a prominent chief, he can just take advantage of, oh, it's festival, everybody is bringing a gun. Before we realize, they have killed our chief. And we are not going to allow that to happen. So that is why we are saying, guns down, guns down, guns down. So we want our chiefs to help us So that is why when the Honorable Minister was announcing the gun amnesty, he said that there is a temporary use of firearms during traditional festivities, funerals and all that. We mean well because we want together with our House of Chiefs and our traditional authorities streamline their team so that together we make sure that if the person is not coming from the police who has been authorized to use the musketry that fires gunpowder, no other person can bring a weapon to the occasion because you may not know. You will be in your palanquin and enjoying and somebody is targeting you. So we are trying to put a stop to that so that we streamline the things, then only those from the police can go ahead and do it. So that's why how come the gun amnesty program came about. So we reduce the number of illicit arms in the system. So ideally,
hello, thank you very much. Ideally, the security agency should have just hit town and arrest everybody who has a gun without a license because it's a criminal offense. If you need a weapon to use legitimately either for hunting or farming or for self-protection, you go through the law and you acquire. If you did not and you just went to acquire, it's an illegal offense. When you are arrested, the Criminal Offences Act, it is a first degree felony and you can go into jail for a minimum of 10 years. That is what it is. And so last week or so, one guy called this cyber or whatever, we heard where he shot into a pump action gun because of the musician who had come. Quickly they took him to court. He was remorseful. He accepted his bill, and they fined him 24,000. If you are not able to pay, you go into prison. So that's what should have happened to all of us. But His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, realized that no, we cannot do that because we have a number of people who mean well. They don't have any criminal intentions. Probably they didn't know. So we have a lot of hunters who are wielding guns. They didn't know they had to go through any process. Are we going to arrest them and put them into jail? No. So the President says, even though ignorance of the law is no excuse, I want to grant Ghanaians that pardon. So if you have a weapon, you didn't go through the process, you bring your gun. Two things. Either you bring it and say, this gun, I don't need it again. Look, we have people who have bought pistols in the name of, oh, I want to use it for self-protection. For the past 5 to 10 years, they haven't even fired it before. And it is there. See, some of us really don't even need these guns in the name of self-protection. And how sure are you that if there is anything, you can even use the gun to protect yourself? We have had incidences where people have lost their lives because when the criminal came, they realized that the man has a gun. And if we don't act fast, they will kill us. So, boom, they kill you. And you see, the iron of it, they even take your own weapon and add to their own. So please, let us be careful. It is not true that if you have a gun, that it means you are protected or you are safe. No. It is all about the safety precautions you take and how you are aware about your own environment and the security consciousness that you have. It's very, very important. And there are other means that we can protect ourselves apart from the gun. So let us think about it. So maybe you don't need it. Or maybe you have a weapon that civilians are even not allowed to use. You didn't know. I remember there was a case where some man got angry because people have been stealing his fruit. He has a fruit garden behind his house and people have been stealing it. So he went to get AK-47. One day somebody was stealing and then fired. As I'm speaking, he has left the farm there, cooling off at his home. So now it is free for all. You see, if you don't take it, that is what the gun will do to you. So if you have AK-47, M316, or the weapons that civilians are not allowed to use, for example, we are saying this window, take it to the police and surrender. Give it to them. Nobody will ask you any question that, hey, why did you get it? They will ask you. If I didn't even they see that we have written Ghana Police Service on it, they will not ask you anything. They will just take the weapon and you go your way. That is the amnesty. So no police officer has the right to question anybody when he contrary with me, or to prosecute you or say I've arrested you. If that police officer does that, you suffer the consequence, because it is the president himself who has given that amnesty. So if you do that, it means you want to challenge the authority of the president. So I can assure you, no police officer at any police collecting point will ask you any question. They will just take the weapon from you. So we want to reduce the number of illicit arms. So when the Honorable Minister announced the amnesty, I think on the 18th of November, he said, after the amnesty period, he expects that every well-meaning Ghanaian who has an online or registered weapon will take advantage of it. If you don't, then it means you have criminal intentions. So they will treat you like any other criminal. So that one, when they get you, just like the president said in the case of the gentleman who shot when the musician came, he said the law is the law. Nobody is going to have sympathy of you. If you come to Togo and say, Togo, please go and beg the police for me, Togo will not mind you. Because we are talking about it today. So please, that is why we brought the amnesty, so that we will collect all these from well-meaning Ghanaians. Then after that, the unwell-meaning Ghanaians, if there is a word like that, then the security agents will go after them. Some are asking, how can you know that we have guns in people's homes? Okay, if you want to throw a challenge, you can throw a challenge. Be there. You'll be there, you will come. If you don't bring it, somebody will give us information, we'll give him some cash to pocket, and then we'll come and pick you and your weapon. So please, as to the things that the security agencies will do, they will do it and get the weapon. So please, when we go, let us tell them. So this is being spearheaded by the Ministry of the Interior in collaboration with the Commission. The main objective, quickly, is to encourage voluntary surrender of unlicensed or illicit firearms. So that's the first one I spoke about. Or the second one, is illicit firearms and gun violence in the country, as I mentioned. Because realize that most of the guns that are used in committing violence or crimes, they are the unregistered ones. What is the state of affairs? I've already mentioned that. So, I mean, concerns of illicit possession, the high incidence of firearms-related violence, injuries and deaths, high rates of firearms-related crimes, misuse of arms, I just said that. So, for example, if you look at the statistics, for example, the first half of last year, armed robbery cases, we recorded 322. Murder, 342. And all these, they use firearms. Unlawful possession of firearms, 70. Weapons that were retrieved, 130. Deaths, 166 people died as a result of gunshot, just January to June. And then the injuries, 93. We'll try and get the... So why a gun amnesty? We want to promote responsible gun ownership and licensing compliance. So if you're a Ghanaian, you mean well, you don't have any evil intention. We want to promote responsible gun ownership. Go and register your weapon and become responsible so far as the use is concerned and comply with the licensing regime. To regularize ownership of firearms, pardon people with no criminal intent, if I've already said that, and then save law-abiding citizens from being punished by the law. So you are a law-abiding citizen, you didn't know when you went to buy. We don't want the law to punish you this way. And I've already said that illicit possession is a first-degree felony, so let me move on. We also want to reduce the number, I've said that, promote a gun violence free, I've said that, and then temporary, so streamline regulations. I mentioned the temporary ban of the use of firearms in traditional celebrations, which I know our House of Chiefs are going to help us to do that. So please, if you didn't know, during any traditional festival, please make sure that person is arrested. Restrictions on the importation and sales of firearms. So as we speak, when the gun amnesty started from 1st December, there was also restrictions on importation. The minister said, I'm not going to allow any dealer to import any arms or even the police to register any arms for anybody. We want to streamline, the circulation and the use of firearms during this period. And we also want to strengthen the trust between communities and for law enforcement. So what are some of the things that we did? This is not the first gun amnesty that is being granted. For those of us who remember, Kufuor granted a gun amnesty. Now, 2016, before the election, an amnesty was granted. This probably will be the 10th amnesty. But this one is an amnesty. So you realize that the president is very serious about the issue of small arms. The previous ones, we didn't have any engagement like this. We didn't have any awareness raising in the media and all that. But this time, we are having a media awareness. We are going to communities. We are here doing this engagement because we really mean business to make sure that Ghana does not go down the road that other countries have gone. So the minister established a steering committee for them to see how we plan the whole thing. And there was a technical committee also to plan the gun amnesty program. The technical committee had series of meetings to plan all the various activities. Then there was stakeholders engagement at the ministerial level and the agency level. So the minister, for example, met all the regional ministers, and then they in turn met the regional House of Chiefs. Some of them are yet to do that. There were he even engaged the arms dealers to explain to them why we need to do this. The commission has met with civil society in Accra, so there were a series of stakeholder engagement. Then we have developed gun amnesty program awareness creation and operational materials. Some are out there, some too we are yet to bring them out. Trainer of traders. and regional training of GAP officers. So because this gun amnesty is very important to us, we trained the police officers who are going to handle the gun amnesty program so that they will not falter and make sure they go about it very professionally. So we brought police officers from all the 16 regions. In fact, even with the police, there are 25 regions. So from all the 25 regions to Accra, and we trained them how to go about the amnesty. Then they also went to the regions to train all the officers. So the officers who are in charge of the amnesty program have all been trained to make sure they do their work professionally. Then we created three amnesty awareness. Of course, we haven't been able to do much. That is why this is also ongoing. To make sure that the awareness is. We created some T-shirts. I'm wearing one. And then gun amnesty material, the forms, labeling stickers, and that they are using when you go to the various centers. So, the gun amnesty program, we came up with a theme, and the theme is silencing the guns to save our lives. We used to say silencing the guns to save a life. Now it is no more to say it can happen to anybody. We heard it about a week or 2 weeks ago, sadly. Some police officers who are doing their work on the Tamale, Wale or Olga Road, one of them lost their life. So painfully. Some immigration officers have lost their lives. Ordinary civilians have lost their lives. We don't want this to continue. And it can affect anybody. You can be walking yourself, somebody fires, and then you are caught that. So we want to silence the guns to save our own lives. And our slogan is, let's silence the guns to save our own lives, like I said. So we are also, and the tagline is the guns down, Ghana up. Guns down, guns down, framework. So let us help to make sure the transparency. And we also want our media to help us to make sure that this transparency is ongoing. Then safety. So we put in place measures to make sure that we strictly adhere to the firearm handling protocol. So we are saying when you are taking the weapon to the police, make sure it is not loaded. If it is loaded and you cannot offload, please don't take chances. That in that case, you take it to the police. Immediately you get there, tell them, please, my weapon is loaded, but I don't know how I can offload it. Quickly, they will make sure, even though when you go, they will check. They will make sure that it's offloaded so that everybody is safe. So you keep it in a bag or cover it in something, as well as the ammunition. Don't just go to the police station, just walking with a arm like a hunter who is going to hunt in the farm. No, don't do that. It could create problems for you. So we have steps. We have developed steps that you need to take. So we are saying that, like I said, don't just carry the weapon, put it into something. Go to the police district where they are taking the weapon. When you go, declare your intention, whether you want to surrender or whether you want to register. They will help you to do that. After that, they will give you your receipt, then you go away. Nobody will ask you any questions. Okay. So we are saying there is a suspension on firearms importation. I've said that a temporary ban on the use of traditional festival, ongoing dialogue with traditional authorities to regulate and use border security to be enhanced to prevent arms trafficking before, during, and after the gun activity. So we don't want a situation we want from other countries into the country. So we are making sure we enhance security at the borders to prevent any increased illicit firearms and prosecute offenders who will begin after. If you can decide to be a doubting Thomas when it happens, then that will be your own making. So there will be suits, there will be searches, which will be intensified in crime hotspots and known criminal networks after this period to retrieve all those illicit arms. So we develop all these things. We have frequently asked questions and answers. So if you have a copy of this, it will answer all your questions for you. Roles and responsibilities. So the ministry provides policy oversight. They need a declaration, that is the minister, and then also see to interagency collaboration. As a commission, we are coordinating the Ghana Amnesty program. We are responsible for communication, that is creating awareness, monitoring and reporting. The Ghana Police Service is in charge of the collection, regularization, safety and custody of the firearms. And the media is also supposed to help us to create awareness and make sure transparency is gone. So now you are here as a stakeholder, and the question we are asking is, what about you? What role are you also going to play to help the Ghana Amnesty program to succeed? So that at the end of the day, opinion leaders and community leaders before the amnesty to keep up interest and participation the way we have wanted to do it. What are our critical needs? We need media platforms. We know our media, when you work, you know you must get some resources to work. But please, partner with us and let us do this awareness raising. give us some free airtime and let us talk, because we don't have all the resources that we need to be given to you. We need the use of community radios and platforms, religious platforms. So we beg our religious leaders who are here, help us. One Sunday at church, for example, you can talk about it. You know, it is a way of helping all of us. At the mosque, the chief imams can also help by talking about it. Let's do that. During our traditional festivities, for example, even our traditional authorities can also mention in the Ghana Amnesty. It's very, very critical. The use of group platforms such as churches, mosques, I've already said that. Vigilance and support of all stakeholders for effective monitoring of the Ghana Amnesty program. So if you hear a police officer is harassing somebody because the person has presented, please, you can even blow it to the media. Let the media also blow it. We'll support you, because no police officer is supposed to do that. Vigilance, yes. NCC and ISD support required in the public awareness campaigns. In fact, we are supposed to engage them, but they also need some funds. In the meantime, let them also help us the simple way that they can, so that all of us. So I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'm concluding with this, and then I'll sit down. Just a second, please. Hello. So just before I sit down, I want to leave you with a poem. A poem on firearms that I composed last year. My name is Mr. Small Arm. Others call me Firearm. My arm may sound small, but the harm I cause isn't small. If you choose to call me Mr. Gun, then you remember my cough isn't fun. Unlike the dog, I do not know my owner. So you must be very cautious, or you are a goner. Don't be eager to acquire me with speed. Otherwise, you may acquire trouble or death with speed. I am like a spirit who wants to be seen. And so, I can talk to your spirit to create a scene. When my handlers obey my whisper, they pull the trigger and people shiver. I find satisfaction in my sound when I silence my victims. Hence, for your own safety, silence the gun so you don't become a victim. Stay away from me in your moment of fun. Be sober in mind and don't become my fun. Now you have no excuse to say you didn't know, because now I have made you know. When I thank you for staying away from the small arm, thank me later for saving you from the harm of Mr. Small Arm. And this is I composed last year to warn all of us about the dangers of small arms. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hands down. Hands down. It's not the way he was struggling with his phone. Say, please let your JC son help you. We need to be JCs. If not, they will leave them behind. It won't be so. Right. Alright, so that's just by the way. Now we are going to a very important part of this program. That is Q&A. We are not to take your questions, but also your suggestions. Whatever we need to improve on the Ghana Amnesty and make it better, to get people to participate, you are on the ground. That is why you are important stakeholders to this engagement. But before I do so, I have ACP Pel Abe in a ASP, sorry, ASP. So was I demoting you or promoting you? Promoting you, it will come to pass in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, you may not know, but I'm a reverend, so I say this honestly. Yes. So, I'm going to invite ASP Pelabe. She is going to give us briefly the collection points. She is in charge of the firearms registry in the Volta region, so she will show us where we can go to either surrender our firearms or we declare our intent to register them. Please, let's appreciate them.
In the Volta region, we have the regional police headquarters. We all know where it's located. And we have another one at the whole divisional police headquarters, which is at the municipal assembly. We have one at the district police headquarters, another at the museum, just adjacent the municipal hospital. We have one at Anyawasi police station. One is also at Pebe, another one at Dwapon. Then we have one at Agbozume. There's another at Adakuru. At Beime, Petwe district, we have one. At the Dome, we have one. Georgia police station, we have one. We have another at Akachi. Ketu, that's Denuen. Denuen, East Area, we have one there. We have another one at Keta, another one at Peki, and there's another at Abedaka. So Gankope, the Tom Division, we have one there. We have one at Aplau, another at Angogan, and another at Denu for those around Toko. Thank you very much. So one is at the police regional headquarters, another at the whole divisional police headquarters, the municipal assembly. We have one at whole district police headquarters, which is just opposite the commercial bank. We have one at Anyawasi, another one at Pebe, another at Dwapon police station. From there we go to Agbozume. At Dakuru we have one there. At Beime, there's another. Petwe, Ome, Georgia, Akachi, Ketu, Keta, Peki, at Beime, Sogankope, Aplau, Angogan, and Denu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll be seeing you after the program to get the mapping, because we'll be doing some monitoring. So my team will see you.
For police, Pando is a different region, so they also have DSA. But this one I'm talking about the Volta region in terms of policing. Are you okay, sir? They have this. With the police, it's a different region, so they also have their centers over there. Are we okay, sir? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have very powerful people in our midst. I see the military, please. Let's appreciate the military as well. Yes. We have the security agencies here. The commission is here. We have a high table. It's now time for questions, and they will deliver. So, yes, I can see my boss wants to ask the first question. I just want to instill some kind of order here in terms of the question and answers. So, when we've not handed over the mic to you, please don't take the mic by force. We have two people who are going to attend to both sides. So just give me a wave, or you raise your hand, and then we will ask them to yield the mic to you. Please, let's keep it brief, because I can see many people, even the questions hadn't started, but people were asking questions. Let's keep it brief so that the authorities can understand and then quickly answer. So I'll start with you. We'll take one from this side. So I'll start with you, and then we'll come to this side, then we'll come to you, please. Try.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My name is District Chief Executive for Volta. Yeah, I want to know the criteria that is being used in the creation of the regional office and the municipal and district offices. For the criteria that is being used, because the regional one, Volta region, is not of the municipality in the district.
So who from this side? Who wants a question from this side? Okay.
I am Isaac Benu Yela. I am suggesting something. If we are thinking of small arms and how to collect them, can we think about how to stop the production or curtail the production or organize the production? Because when you collect and you don't stop the supplying point or control the supplying point, you will continue collecting the eternity. Thank you.
So we'll take two more and then we'll yield to, yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Ernest Adebo, DC Volta. Let me first of all commend the presenter for his archaeological skills. For his presentation.
Mr. Technician, please.
Thank you. Yeah. I am a little bit troubled. Why we don't have the funding? Thank you.
One more from this side and then please.
My name is Alman. Please, sometimes we are talking about peace, and sometimes people who are sent to a peaceful place go with arms loaded. How can peace prevail when arms are fully loaded and then they call it peace? How are they regulated that when that peace is to be implemented, you see innocent civilians who have no guns